You got your products, your services, your business model, the vision, the name, everything, the pizzazz, the flair, all of it. You just need to know legally, how do I register my business? I'm here to answer those boring questions in this breakdown of formation of entities. So the first question I think that's important to address is why it's important to register your business. There are lots of protections available to your business if you register with your Secretary of State or if you just register and form your business legally. These protections can help you when someone bails, and ultimately in a business we all know that someone will bail or fail on their obligations, whether it's a client, a customer, a partner, or someone else you're working with. You want to make sure that you're fully protected legally with your business. I'm going to talk through 5 or 6 things with each business entity that I introduce. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the structure of the business. The second, I'm going to talk about the liability. Third, I'm going to talk about management and what's expected in the management style for different roles. Fourth, I'm going to talk through formalities. And 5, I'm going to talk through transferability. For some of these entities, I will talk through briefly taxation. The first business entity I'll talk about is that of sole proprietorship. This is usually the most attractive because it is the simplest business form. There are no formalities in opening this business. How this usually goes is there's one person who owns the business. I have 100% control of my business. There are no formalities required for me to have the GOR group. Boom, I'm a sole proprietor. Some of the drawbacks is that of the liability. In some businesses, whatever you do in your business doesn't affect your personal life. So if I make a mistake in the GOR group and someone sues me, my assets would not be liable or would not be vulnerable to that lawsuit. But in the sole proprietorship situation, your personal assets are made available, as well as those who are married, your marital assets. So you and your hubby or your wife could be personally held liable for the mistakes or issues that you have with your business. So those are kind of the drawbacks with sole proprietorship. The good thing too about sole proprietorship is that taxation-wise, there's no double taxation. Okay, so what is double taxation? Again, I'm not a tax lawyer, but I will briefly describe what that is via a diagram. Here is a model. This is your money from your business. Boom, your business gets the money. Down here, we know that based on your income as a business, you're going to be taxed, your business. Well, presumably you'd have investors and shareholders. And once that money is taxed, whatever is left over goes to your investors. Profit-wise goes to your investors, the dividends. And so based on a double taxation model, your business would be taxed, and then whatever is left over, the dividends to your investors, that income would also be taxed. With this particular business model, there's no double taxation. Only this gets taxed. Does that make sense? So that means you're only taxed once for the amount of money that comes into your business income. The next few entities are for people who are working with people. You're not the only person in charge here. You're not the only person in ownership. And so you're working with and collaborating with other people. The first one that I want to talk about is that of a general partnership. Okay. So the structure of a general partnership, like I said, is that there are 2 or more co-owners. Liability-wise, there is unlimited personal liability, just like with the sole proprietorship, but there is also unlimited tortious liability of your partner. And so for unlimited personal liability, you can be held liable for whatever happens in the business personally, but unlimited tortious liability of the partner. So I'm going to give an example. We have our partners here, Tamra and Deja. Tamra's partner A, Deja's partner B. These are my sisters. So let's say that Tamra and Deja own a pet grooming business and they have a truck. They have a truck for their company. They travel and groom people's dogs in their neighborhoods. And so Deja's driving the company truck and she crashes it and hits someone. So not only is their pet grooming business liable, and not only is Deja personally liable, Tamra as a general partner is liable for the tortious conduct of Deja. So you see there's some drawbacks already with the general partnership. There are no formalities required. As far as transferability, and when I say transferability, I mean that maybe one day Deja has a daughter and she no longer wants to be a part of the general partnership. Or maybe one day Tamra is kind of tired of trying to run the dog grooming business. She wants to be an artist and she wants to make plates all day. And so she decides, I want to transfer my title, my role, to someone else. In order to do this, usually you need a partner's permission. So Tamara would need Deja's permission in order to transfer or to sell her particular title or role as general partner. Another benefit for general partnerships is that there's no double taxation. Usually the cost to form a general partnership, depending on your jurisdiction, depending on your county, and filing fees, it's about $50 to $100. The next entity is that of a limited partnership. So another type of collaborative entity. This entity involves, again, 2 or more co-owners, but in this entity, there's at least one general partner and there's at least one limited partner. And the limited partner is the person who invests the capital. This person invests the money. They're not involved in the day-to-day control and management of the business. And so that limited partner is only liable for the amount of capital that they invest. So let's say there's Tamara and there's Deja. Tamara is the unlimited partner, and so she invests $10,000 in the dog grooming business. Tamara is only liable up to that $10,000, okay? Then there's Deja. Deja would serve as the general partner, and so she is in charge of the day-to-day business. She's in charge of the bookkeeping, and hiring and firing employees, making sure that the lights go on and off in the business. She is still going to be personally liable for the mistakes and tortious conduct and all of the issues with the dog grooming business because Deja's the general partner and Tamara's the limited partner. Now let's say that Tamara decides, you know what, I want to get a little invested. I want to see how they're, grooming the dogs. And so she decides to become more involved in the dog grooming business. She starts coming into the job. She starts controlling who gets fired and hired. She starts deciding about independent contractors and working with inspections and all of that. At that point, Tamara has made herself no longer just a limited partner and no longer just vulnerable to that $10,000 capital. Now she's going to be personally liable for the business because she's become invested in the control of the business. Formalities. Now this is the first entity that we're talking about that requires a formal process for which to register your business. So with the limited partnership, an LP, you must file a certificate of limited partnership with your Secretary of State. And the requirements of that will change and vary based on the county that you want to register your business in. So please consult with an attorney who can help you, but you must file a certificate of limited partnership with your Secretary of State. You also, for transferability purposes, again, remember that maybe Deja wants to no longer work in the dog grooming business. She wants to, kayak for a living, and she wants to buy, sell kayaks and be a kayak teacher. I don't know anything about kayaks, but she wants to do that. And so in order to do this, she needs Tamara's permission to sell or transfer her particular role, liability, all of that. She needs Tamara's permission before she makes that move. And so that's another drawback that some people look at when trying to decide whether a limited partnership is for them. A benefit, again, another benefit, no double taxation. So the income is taxed once and that's it. The cost of trying to create a limited partnership ranges from about $150 to $250 for filing fees. This does not include the legal fees for the certificate of limited partnership because you do want to meet all of those requirements, so meeting with an attorney is imperative. But generally, you're looking at $150 to register your business. Corporations. Everybody wants to be a corp. Everyone wants to be a boss, a CEO, all that stuff. I'm going to talk to you about what it takes in order to legally form one, okay? Because you might change your mind. Just saying. A corporation. So a corporation is a separate legal entity. That means you and your business are two different things. And that means that your business has a broad range of powers. But let's talk about liability since we already talked about separate legal entities. One, the corporation is responsible for its own debt. And with the corporation, you have shareholders, you have directors, you have officers. The major decisions are made by a board of directors, and the board of directors are decided by and picked by the shareholders. Every big business decision has to be voted on and decided by a board of directors. So even though you are the shareholder, even though you are the business owner, you still need, in order to make a big decision for your corporation, you need the okay of the board of directors. That's something to consider. Formalities, there are lots of formalities to form a corporation, one of which that's the most common is to file articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State. Now this does require an attorney, no doubt about it. There are samples on different legal websites that give you like a cookie cutter. I am not a huge fan of those. If you can find an attorney that's willing to work with you, please do so, because your business is specific to you, your services are specific to you, and you want to make sure that you covered all your bases because you're protecting your business. This is preventative care and not waiting to react to something that happens. So it's really important that your articles of incorporation are clear cut and that they're thoroughly looked over by an attorney. There are other corporate formalities required, and so those formalities will depend on the type of business that you have. It'll depend on where you're registering. Again, that's why it's important to consult with an attorney with the corporation. Now, you see a lot of people want to do corporations, but we haven't even gone through all of the requirements of a corporation. It's a lot of work to run, manage, and maintain and stay in compliance with the laws mandated for you to have a ethically run corporation. Transferability. You would have to sell your shares of stock to another person. And so you can do that without restriction, but it's just a matter of you selling that stock. And so difference from just getting permission from Tamara and Deja, this time around, I really don't have to unless our articles of incorporation say different. I would just have to take the stock that I have and sell it to someone who's willing to take on the responsibilities of being a shareholder and buy it at the price that's set. Is double taxation. This is the first time that we're seeing this with an entity. There's double taxation. So do you all remember our model? Again, with the model, usually what happens with the business, there's going to be taxable income. You get your income, it goes to the business, and then you're taxed. And then that money is filtered to different investors and shareholders, and then their income is taxed doubly. So with all the other businesses, what you're seeing is that your business income is just taxed, and whatever goes as profit and dividends to the investors, that's it. But here you're seeing it taxed doubly. And so you'll have to factor for that in your business and your business model, especially when you're thinking about profit and the cost to run your business. So the cost of forming a corporation is it's $350 to $750, and those are just the filing fees. Just the filing fees. You also have to consider the legal fees. Again. Finally, the last one that I'm going to talk about today is that of an LLC. It's kind of a hybrid of a general partnership and a corporation. And so how it kind of looks is there's a separate legal entity, so that means your business is different from you as a partner or a shareholder. And what's really cool about that is that that means that there's liability protection between you and the business. There's a wall between you and the business. So the acts and tortious acts or whatever acts of the business do not affect your personal assets. Management means that because you have a collaborative effort here, all of the members control the business. So this is a little less appealing to people who really want to have more control over their business. Someone who's looking for a sole proprietorship may not like this because that means that all of the members have an equal say in how the business is run. If you're not a collaborative person, this won't work for you. Formation wise, it's a little difficult because you do have to file something with the Secretary of State. You have to file articles of organization. And so this is something, again, that you really do want to check with an attorney with. You want to make sure that they review your articles of organization. A benefit, there's no double taxation here, again, so you're only taxed once. That's really good with an LLC. The cost of forming an LLC is a little less than that of a corporation. It's about $200 to $600 for the filing fees. Of course, that depends on where you're registering and what type of business. And then, of course, you want to consider the legal fees. You'll have to get a quote from an attorney so you can see what the legal fees will be. So we've gone over sole proprietorships, general partnerships, limited liability partnerships or LLPs, and then we've also gone over corporations and limited liability companies or limited liability corporations. So please consider which one will be better for you. Think about your business, think about your goods and services, do a little research. You're on your way to being a boss, you just want to set yourself up. Again, this is all about preventative work. It's not about waiting until things go wrong to seek help. Please be sure to set up your business to win. If this video was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the court order. I'll be sharing more videos about how to set up your business and how to make sure you set your business up to win. Thanks for watching. Bye.